slashers and scream queens, and welcome back to the Horror Daddies,
a podcast where we talk about horror movies
and the daddies in them.
And today we have the reigning kings of podcasting with us today.
The Horror Bandwagon, Sergio and Cody.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
amazing.
Live audience?
Live-
What? I
Yup.
did not expect this.
But they'll turn on you real quick, so watch out.
Oh, you're right. They keep us on our toes, you know. Hi guys, thank you for having us. We did joke about being introduced as the reigning kings of podcasting, and you did it. And I'm like, oh god, people are gonna look us up. Like, who the fuck are these guys?
No, I mean, we want to thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Like, really, it's a pleasure to have you. And yeah, I'm a little nervous, so thank you again. But seriously, you guys are great. So I'm excited for this episode.
We're super honored to be on this podcast, talking with you guys. When you reached out to us, we were like, oh my God, yes, of course. We've been following you guys and we've been loving your stuff. So honestly, this makes sense. This makes sense with my fantasy right now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thank you. Do you guys want to tell the listeners a little bit about you guys? Your origin story, how you became superheroes and stuff like that.
My villain origin story. Maybe that's Cody's. You relate to the villains.
I mean,
But why are you making me the villain of our relationship? This is the real issue.
People who have listened to the podcast, you know how many times Cody has broken my hearts with his rating of movies.
Well, we are a podcast that came about because when we first started dating, we were, of course, getting to know each other. And Sergio mentioned that he loved horror movies, and I historically have not done so. So over time, we started watching some horror movies together to just try to get me to like some of them. And at some point we realized that it would just make complete sense to sit down and record it so other people could listen, because usually our horror movie watching experience is him living for the movie and me just like tearing it apart systematically as we go through. So
yeah, it's been a lot of like pause and like, no, hold up. We're talking about this. And at some point we were just debating so much that we were like, we need to record this. We need the world to know what's happening here.
that's perfect.
So yeah, we were like, this kind of makes sense. It made more sense because of the pandemic. So we were just with each other 24/7, and we were like, let's start a podcast where I try to get you on the horror bandwagon. You know, hence the title, because I want him to love horror. I want him to kind of understand it and eventually be like, yeah, this is my favorite genre. We're almost there. We're not 100%, but compared to when we first started dating, we've introduced him to a lot of horror movies, and I have to say, I think you're understanding it a little bit.
yeah, I've come to have an appreciation for at least some of the genre.
And
There
that's
are
progress.
movies that are a miss.
Yeah, and I can testify to that. I've been listening from the beginning, and he's gotten there. He's there,
Right?
Yeah.
I've gotten better.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want some juicy content, you listen to the episodes where we covered Haunt, Saw,
Yeah.
Creep. Those are episodes where Cody was like, I'm never watching this movie again.
And you guys
Not
haven't
because it
learned-
was a bad movie, but because he's just a scaredy cat.
I mean, I get it. You guys haven't done the Saw sequels, right? Like, at least watch them outside of the show. No.
No.
Oh, Cody.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the Saw sequels. I had never even seen Saw. Us covering it for the podcast was the first time that I had ever seen it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about the movie. I'm not going to get into them, or this is going to be 3 hours long. So I'll say just go listen to our episode if you haven't heard it already, and you can hear my full breakdown about why I think Saw makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah, and all their information is going to be down in the description below, so it's easy click to their channel. So
But, all right.
So, Carlos, what movie are we watching today?
Well, we watched The Deep House from 2021. And I must say, very first time I was kind of like, okay, I can dig this. Now on a third watch, I was like, disappointed.
What are your opinions? Like right off the bat, like just a simple,
Before we like really go ham on it. Me and Cody turned to each other because we met up before and we talked about what movies we would want to cover. Yeah. And The Deep House came up. And I kind of want to say it was because we both have never seen it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I forgot. I'm like, oh my God, did one of them say that it was like their favorite movie? Like, did they love it? Because
you're judging
off the bat.
You're like judging it.
Cody, and I know Cody. Cody is not afraid to be like, this is an awful movie. I'm more of like, oh my God, hold on. Let's not like rip anyone's hearts because we looked at each other and we're like, this isn't it, girl. This is not it. It could have been it. It could have been.
And that's the issue. So, okay, the first time I watched it, I was probably half asleep. And one of the jump scares got me. So I was like, ooh, one already got me. So I'm already tensed up throughout the whole movie. And don't get me wrong, it's kind of creepy. The elements are there, but the outcome isn't there. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because I remember we watched the trailer for it together.
Oh, the trailer made it seem very
the trailer seemed really cool. The premise sounded amazing. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not so much that I thought the movie was bad. I was just more disappointed by the missed opportunity because the premise seems so cool. And what they actually delivered, I think, just didn't match up to what my expectations of the movie were.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with.
I think this movie also suffers a lot from technical stuff. Like a lot of the jump scares, like there's some lead up to it, and then they kind of cut to something else randomly. They cut back, and then there's a jump scare, or even a freaky thing that happens in the background. They kind of ruin it with like this weird shot of a jump scare that completely ruins any sort of tension that there is in the scene.
It's like, hey, look at the jump scare, but hey, keep looking at it. Look, we did amazing, right?
Yeah, like,
Guys,
exactly.
cut it away. We're done now.
And it could have been great. I think this movie is very creative, very original, because at the end of the day, it's a haunted house that's underwater. That's all it is. Yeah. But a lot of the shots are beautiful. Like there's a lot of great shots that they look incredible. There's one specific that we'll get there when we get there, but it just, with that murky water and like the silhouettes, it kind of makes it look like a painting almost, and it's actually super interesting, but it just kind of missed the mark most of the time.
I will say I think my biggest issue with it overall is just that like what I appreciate about movies, and I think those who are listening to this episode who've listened to some of ours before know that I love having a mystery that I get to figure out. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things about watching movies like this and getting to piece together the story as it comes together. And I feel like this either was way too vague for you to figure anything out, or it just shoved it right in your face with no clear explanation as to how it fits into the overall story. I wish it had settled somewhere in between those two, where you had clues you could pick up. There was stuff that like you could discuss after it was over about, what did you think actually happened in this movie? And it wasn't quite there. It was either like way too far on one end of the spectrum or the other.
Yeah. I think what I told Cody after watching it, I was like, it kind of seems like somebody was like, dude, let's make a movie of a haunted house, but it's underwater. They're like, fuck yes. Let's give you all the money. You did it. You got there. And they're like, oh shit, we need to write a script for this. So they wrote up because at some point I felt like it was on crack because it was just like wrapping up everything super quick. And I'm like, whoa, hold up. What's going on? And so, I mean, don't get me wrong, listeners, definitely prove me wrong because I didn't do more research than I should have. I probably should have, but I didn't know what the script process was. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did know what they were planning to do. But for me, how it came off as was like the script was a second thought. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm very glad that they focused more on the underwater aspects because those were the highlights for me.
Yeah.
It's just a movie that definitely could be better. You could definitely improve on it, and it would be very interesting.
Because underwater alone already is as scary as it is, especially when you're about to run out of oxygen. Like that's already there. So you just add more to it, like I don't know, with the dead people.
Yeah, no, you'll catch me dead if I try to go deep water. Hell no, I would never go. Oh yeah.
No. I do want to play a game with y'all.
Oh no.
So
all right.
So as we go through the movie, because I kind of wrote it beat by beat in my notebook, I want to know when you guys are gonna when would you get and you're like, I'm out.
So anytime there's like the scene where you realistically would be like, I'm not doing this, just say I'm out, and that's when you're out of the movie.
When you would have turned back around.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
now,
I would have.
Keep in mind, guys, I'm afraid of like anything water, deep ocean thing. So that really tickled something in me overall.
And I'm gonna just go ahead and go along with the premise of the movie for a little bit, because my I'm out is going with a stranger to a secondary location through the woods. So like,
don't spoil it. We're not there yet.
So I'm gonna put myself more in the situation and pick when I'm actually gonna be out. Otherwise, it'd be like 5 minutes into the movie and I'm done.
Oh yeah.
Oh, same. So that's why I was like, let me do it every time something happens, because realistically, I wouldn't even have gone underwater as a start with, but. Well, I'll play along. You know what I'm saying? So like, we'll do it. Yeah. So it was directed, I guess, by two friends and written by them, Alexandre Bustillo and Julian Maury. Starring Camille Rouse as Tina and James Jagger as Ben. It had a limited release, I'm guessing, because it made $1.8 million. I just don't know what the budget was and what Blumhouse paid to bring it over to North America. So,
got it.
With that, that's all being said.
I'm sorry, but like, you look behind you. We have a doll and it moved and it freaked me the fuck out. So,
oh no,
I do not.
No. Somebody's watching us.
Jackson, that's Jackson behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. So, there is an end credit scene. Did you guys see it?
We heard of it. We saw some YouTubers covering the movie, and they mentioned like there's a brief after credits, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Samuel Jackson comes out and goes, I need you guys as an Avengers, and
Aquaman.
The Deep House 2.
Aquaman showed up and saved everyone. All right, so do you guys want to just jump right into it?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm
cool.
Let's get
No pun intended.
Let's get deep into this movie.
Let's deep dive.
All right, so we opened the movie with like Tina and Ben exploring like abandoned asylum, and Tina's testing and wrong. I'm already going ahead of myself.
He's a little nervous. The coffee's still hitting. The coffee's hitting.
They're exploring this like abandoned asylum. They're YouTubers that basically do this for fun or for a living, and there's just one creepy jump scare where Ben scares her, and that's pretty much it for the beginning of the movie. And then we cut to Tina testing her how long she can hold her breath, and we established that she can hold it for 3 minutes, which honestly, good for her.
That's pretty impressive because I can't even last 30 seconds. Yeah, that's
pretty long.
Same.
I don't know if you guys did this when you were younger, because every time I saw a movie and the actor or whatever took place, when they had to go underwater, I would try to hold my breath as long as they did in the movie, and I never made it. Well, so that was just a little quirk about myself that I did watching movies. I don't do it to this day, but I'll tell you, I do not have great breath support.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you on that one. Like, I used to be a Boy Scout back in Puerto Rico, and we did like swimming testing, and I could never do the underwater. Like, I just couldn't breathe. Like, I would literally last like 10 seconds and I'd be out. Like, I've always had terrible. Like,
did they force you? Did they like, no, you're going under there?
It was like a competition. At first, they were like, you have to go. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I literally can't. So I got disqualified.
Oh no.
I did used to do that, the whole holding your water and see if I can do it with the actor. I used to do it a lot with Deep Blue Sea. The shark.
Yes.
I used to do it a lot with that movie. I didn't try it with this movie, but if I did try it with this movie, I would have died because an hour is too long.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They also have, because in Deep Blue Sea at some point they blow up the facility and they have to swim to the surface.
Yes,
that definitely was one for me too.
Mm-hmm. So then we get these credits of them just driving. Are they backpacking? Is that what you consider backpacking through Europe?
I guess,
right? Okay, I don't know what.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I just kind of took it as like they were exploring, because we know that she at least like has an apartment that she lives in.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just took it as like they like to go on adventures on the weekends. I mean, Europe is like much more drivable than a lot of places in the U.S. So I was just kind of like taking that from it, that they just like to go around and explore old places, which is something I would be totally down for. I have always loved like old, like abandoned buildings and stuff. And I would like, I have to admit, this is one of the few things where like I could actually see myself doing this in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
super
you're not
interesting.
out yet.
No, he is all in.
Yeah, no, I'm 100%
All
in.
in. Cool.
I would maybe have used the drone to explore the abandoned building alone for safety reasons, because I don't know the how good the floors are.
True.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I would 100% be there. It would be a lot of fun. And there is actually a similar thing to this movie, where about 45 minutes away from us, there is a man-made lake where at the bottom of the valley is an old town that was there before they flooded the area, where you can like go dive and see these like structures that are still there. I would do it. I would 100%
Nope,
would.
I'm out there.
It's actually super interesting. I had a friend of mine that I guess they found in Florida like a abandoned mall, and it's completely open for the public. And she went, and it's super cool. There's like in the what is the food court area? There's like a hole straight through the ceiling, and there's sunlight that just illuminate the whole room, and it looked like the picture she took was gorgeous. I was like, this is awesome. And she said there's black mold everywhere. Like, it's super creepy. You definitely want to wear a mask, be around with people, because you never know what you're gonna find down there. But it's super cool.
Florida man up in that mall.
I do like that the Latin people here are just gonna be like, no, we're done. We're not doing it. We're just and Cody's like, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm here for daytime exploring, not nighttime.
Ooh, yeah.
At night, no. I'm good at home. Thank you.
Oh,
But we do get the credits and the title card, The Deep House. And we were debating of what would this movie be called in Spanish, because
La Casa Honda.
that doesn't make sense. So
true.
technically that is the technical
Like
translation.
straight translation.
Straight-
like-
Yeah.
But I think I didn't find one in Spanish. I found it in Italian. It's La Casa Bajo el Lago, something like that, which means the house under the lake.
Okay. I think that would be the closest one. I think
The more
right?
accurate one, I would say.
Yeah.
So they stop at this very creepy town in southwest France that looks abandoned, but it's not. It's just that people have been moving out of there and selling their houses, because it looks like it's a town that survived World War II. And then we do get this creepy shot of an old man through the window, and I was like,
He's
I'm
like,
out.
Monsieur, hi. He's like, nah, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
But we have Tina that she goes to buy something, and then she comes back. It's just like a little scene that really doesn't mean much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, do we ever like find out why that guy was being creepy in the window? Like,
No, I think it was just there to be creepy.
Yeah.
But because like the whole purpose of the scene is just to be like, oh, they're going to some like secret thing. No one else is gonna find it. And then like she comes back and she says, oh yeah, they're like, you can't miss it. Just go down the road.
Yep.
Everybody else is there.
Yeah.
I thought at first it was Pierre that was the one at the window, and he kind of followed them.
Oh, okay.
But
that would have been cool.
See,
but it's not.
That would have been a nice addition to the movie. You know, little tweaks like this, I think, would have pushed it past that line.
Exactly. They get to the destination, and now it's a touristy beach area where everyone's there, so there's like no secret, and he's super disappointed.
He's
'cause
so
his
pissed.
Yeah, because his YouTube channel only gets 50,000 views, and I'm like, sir,
That's fine.
we're over here with like maybe 20.
Like, it's like you gotta appreciate it, you know?
Yeah. But
Man, I don't know. He's all about the hustle. He's like,
That's true.
You know what? We got to do this. Fuck these kids. We need to like, get everybody out. There's a shark in the lake. Get out. Get out. No. I think this is definitely an important scene because you get to see like how much of an asshole Ben really is.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care about their safety. Like,
it's more about the views.
But also, like, why are you like they're? I know we probably mentioned this before, but they're married or about to be married or just boyfriend and girlfriend.
I thought they were just dating.
I thought
They're
they were
just
dating.
Yeah, I just got the dating
Got it.
aspect. Yeah.
Oh,
Got
can
it.
I?
Okay, so
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, I don't understand why she's with him. That's all. I mean, girl, you could do better, but
Yes.
fine.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, I was telling Carlos while watching this that the whole movie, I don't know if it bothered you guys as much as it bothered me, but I kind of hate that they kept calling each other baby. I'm like, y'all in a stressful situation. It's Tina and Ben.
Maybe
Like,
Benjamin.
not baby. Like, it's like, baby, are you possessed?
Yeah, that's a good point. The pet names should go away when you're in danger.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I would still call you babe, though.
That's what I
But
said.
babe is more natural.
Babe is more natural. If you go baby, it's like, all right, you're doing too much.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
actively trying at this point.
But this is okay. So this scene, what amazed me is that they had a bus that had wine, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it's like a food truck, but just
Yeah.
wine.
I was
I
like, "That's so
mean,
I'm
cool."
about it.
It could be cultural.
Yeah.
It could be something.
I guess that's true.
It's not here.
But he like brings it in like
Well,
a little.
you know, in Europe they just drink everywhere. That's-
Yeah. But I love that he brings it in like a little plastic cup, like
Like a
like
theme
it's like
park?
juice.
Yeah.
And this is actually another thing that I would have kind of changed about how the movie was written is the truck was called 100% terroir. And terroir is like a term that means like the essence of the wine that it gets from the soil and the weather and just the climate and the area that the grapes are grown. And I think it would have been really cool to tie this into the concept of the land being cursed where they were going.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's bringing that what's coming in from the ground into that house and keeping those people alive. And I feel like that would have been a cool way to kind of just turn this in, because I don't like movies where you just throw things in just to like, oh, it's cool they have wine. Like you could have easily just
Connected a
tapped
little
on this
bit.
idea of
Yeah.
it being cursed land, and you didn't. And like, I don't know, that was a little bit of a miss for me.
Now,
Yeah.
question for you guys, because
Yes.
I need a little bit of clarity. Apparently, I dozed off during this movie. So, what are they going to see in this part of the water? Was it something different, or was it the same house? Because eventually Pierre's like, "Hello, come with me." Like, oh,
So
like evil grandmother did. Like, but I didn't understand. Like, was it the same thing or
So,
what?
yes, right. I think it's
They-
the same thing.
But he didn't know about the house. What he knew was that there was a town underneath the lake
Mm-hmm.
that's been deteriorating over time. They didn't
Gotcha,
know that
okay.
there was a preserved house under the town, under there some other part of the lake. So they were going where the people are. They're under there. There's the part of the town, but scuba divers go there
Gotcha,
normally
okay.
and explore. But it's already deteriorating. It's not intact.
Yeah.
So this one is a preserved one, but also haunted.
But and then I have a theory about why it's preserved, and I think it's preserved because it's supposed to be haunted. Because if it wasn't haunted, I think
Wow.
it would have just vanished, just like the rest of the town, slowly.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Which that's why it's like rule number 1: when you go on trips, do not trust any stranger to be like, "Hey, I can take you somewhere secret where you think it's really cool." Don't ever do that. They've done that in Hostel, and they've done that in Turistas.
I guess
Don't trust it.
horror movies don't exist in this universe. Like, that's my theory. It's just that they don't exist.
But also, I kind of feel like they know where they are. I don't think they're completely unaware. And they also seem to be kind of experienced doing these kind of things, except for the scuba diving. I think they had to like take lessons. They mentioned
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
lessons.
A
and
license.
Practicing. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But still, if you were going to go away from the plan, you would still want to be a little bit more cautious.
Exactly.
I don't mind that they were like, oh, yeah, let's look into this. But I'm not going to let this man just like stand there and watch us go down there by ourselves.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and they do kind of reference this a little bit later because Ben is like, he jokes, but he says, "Don't worry, I have the keys with me," which I thought was
Yep.
going to come into play later, and it totally didn't.
Nope.
But
No,
But-
because she died. No, I'm kidding.
but
Spoiler alert. Spoiler
it's funny
alert.
though because Tina like almost seems to be onto this like. This is weird that this guy is just like, we're just following where he's telling us. And then like, she especially has a like, are you fucking kidding me moment when he says, oh, I forgot to tell you, you have to walk the last 3 miles. Because at some point, like she says underwater, like to Ben, he was eye banging me the whole time. You have to drive
Yep.
on the way back.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit next to him.
And And what was I going to say? And I feel like they could have just explored where the people were swimming, because it's not like the people were bothering them if it was deep down there.
Yeah.
They didn't have to
You
go
did say
there.
this too.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering if maybe it was something about like they couldn't, because it seemed to me like they just straight up couldn't go in there. And I was thinking maybe it was because there are like in a lake like that, there are designated swimming and diving areas where if you go somewhere else, like you might get literally mowed down by a boat if you just come up to the surface randomly in the middle of the lake. So that's what I was thinking. That was my assumption. I may be giving them too much credit.
That makes sense.
There are signs that say no diving in the background.
Also, they probably changed the rules, and that's why he was upset.
But
Totally missed that.
But I think what he was more upset about is that it's not a secret area. Everybody knows about this. So he thought he was like, I'm hitting gold right now because this is secret.
Oh, and that's why he's mad about the views.
Yes.
Okay.
So then he gets upset for the views, and I think it's supposed to be that commentary where it's like they'll do anything for social media, and even if it's not safe. So then that's when he's like, oh, because he says we're tourists for the day. Let's just enjoy ourselves. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, actually, I lied. We're gonna go to the secret area.
And I would have been super pissed if I was the girlfriend. I was like, listen, you just told me we're relaxing. No.
Also, did you catch that he was not going to propose to her until he got a video with 1 million views?
Wait, he said
said that to her, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Oh, no, honey, we're done.
That was so...
You're done.
Yep.
That's it. You're done.
Yes.
You're done.
Yes. You're done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Honestly, that's my out. You're like, you know what? This was fun. But I gotta go. Listen, I'm hot. I can get anyone. Come on.
Exactly.
That dip was good, but this is too much.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So now they meet Pierre, and we're on our way there.
Yeah, we're on our way there.
I don't know. Did you guys watch this on Paramount or Amazon?
Yeah, good question.
Amazon.
Yes.
Were the titles fucking you up? Or subtitles?
Yeah, we had to turn them off because they were covering up the translation.
So
Thank you. I was so mad about that.
So for our listeners,
Yeah, because it just says French, speaking French.
Yes.
And I was like, I need to see the lines.
yes. So for our listeners, if you haven't seen this movie, I would suggest better going on Paramount, because Paramount actually tells you what they're saying in French.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paramount
perfect.
Plus.
Okay.
Well, it just doesn't cover it because the movie already has natural translation. It's just that on Amazon, for some reason, it just covers them up because fuck
it's
it.
so stupid.
Yeah.
I think it's racist.
But way to tell us, guys. Thanks.
Well,
Thanks for
sorry. I just found out today because he told me. I didn't know.
I came downstairs, so I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, then it's on us then, because we watched it a few days ago, so we didn't tell you.
So he offers them to take him to a secluded part of the lake, and where there's a preserved house. Of course, Ben is like, "Ooh, yes," and Tina's like, "What about relaxing though?" And on
You're
their way,
done.
on their way there, they find out that this was done 50 years ago, where the town flooded, and that they even did some construction and some stuff like that. Tina's mom is French, is why she knows French. Did you guys notice that her mom worked? The place was called Smith's Grow, and I was like, oh, she's from Haddonfield.
I know. Oh my god.
But then she met Ben at New York University, where they got together, and now they are travelers. So
he already did this
yeah.
by himself, and then she kind of started liking it as well. But he's the one that's been putting it on social media. She kind of does it, because of him, but she also enjoys it because.
I know a few couples that like they both have separate YouTube channels.
Yeah,
but
they listen to the podcast.
No. But they both do the same thing.
Yeah,
like they both record places they go to, and it's like if you go to his channel, it's like the same place, and then you go to her channel, it's the same place, and I'm like, guys, just get together.
That's a lot of work.
Right?
Yeah.
Just do it together.
I mean, double the views.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. It is kind of smart a little bit. Because you get more views, you get the same income, but then you also have the together one.
Yep.
So it just depends. Because if you're a fan of both of them, you kind of want to see what their other experiences are like too.
That is true.
So it is kind of smart.
Yeah.
It is kind of smart.
True.
You know what? We're going to create each other's channel.
No, because what am I without you?
You are nothing without me.
I'm just a whiny bitch. That's all that I am.
That could be the name of the channel.
The white bitch.
So Pierre stops and he's like, "Yo, we gotta walk a mile for the destination." That minute, I would have been like, "I'm out. I'm not walking another mile."
Yeah,
I'm not.
Like, girl.
I'm not.
This did also confuse me a little bit for two reasons.
Yes.
The first is that, like, if this supposedly was somebody's house, why is it in the middle of the woods with no infrastructure, like a road or anything going to it at all? The other is that if this is all part of the same lake, the same area that was flooded, why can't you just take a boat there?
That's
It would need to be connected if the whole area is flooded. So why not take a boat?
It's like Jason's.
Oh yeah,
it's like,
you could have just.
Well, it's like Friday the 13th.
Well,
where the lake is always in a different spot, but whatever.
I mean, well, and then I also found it weird that he's like, "This is not in any map you can find," and I'm like, "It's the same lake that was like over there. Like, how is it not connected?"
Yeah, I don't know how this flood happened. Well, we know how the flood kind of happened, but I don't know how the flood connected. If it did I don't know.
Well, that's another glaring issue with this movie. Like, why not just make it part of the canon of this movie that they chose to flood this area and lock these people in their house to kill them because they were so afraid of what they were doing? You could have easily done that, added in a sentence, and that's all you had to do.
Honestly,
and they didn't do it.
That plot point was taken from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a story plot point, so you can't say that you can't do it anymore.
No, I'm not saying
that. Because you know what? Actually, it's in Shrek. It's in Shrek too. But the people come for Shrek.
But listen, a Deep House did it by water, and Nightmare on Elm Street did it by fire. How can we use that?
You're done.
You're done.
I do like that Tom or Ben has a drone named Tom.
I love Tom.
Tom
Honestly,
is the best character.
He's the best character in this movie.
The drone.
Does he die?
No, that's a drone.
No, I know.
Oh,
He
Tom
still can die.
Yeah, Tom.
It's a drone, bro.
I mean, I feel like he will eventually.
But does he die? He never shuts off?
Well,
I thought he shut off at some point.
He runs out of battery. I just don't know when.
No, because he turns evil at the very end.
Oh yeah, I think Tom just dips.
Tom's like, I live here now.
Honestly, do not blame him. Do not blame Tom. You're MVP.
But so
I felt bad for Tom because at some point they were like, "Oh, let's just send the drone in," and for some reason I had a connection with the drone.
Yeah.
I was like, "Don't send him in,"
because Tom is there by force, and you're putting him in danger.
Yeah.
No, leave him alone, please.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
But this is where Pierre's questioning like what they're doing, and he shows his 4K drone named Tom, and then he points out at the peace sign, and he goes, "Oh, nice sticker." And I couldn't find anything about it. The only thing is that it's also called a broken cross, because if you kind of put the peace sign, you know, I can't do it with my hands.
The legs.
But the legs, you put them up, it looks like a cross. So that's
okay.
only
This is meant to tie into the fact that he's from a family that did a bunch of Satan worship.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is, I think, all that it's meant to be. Is he's like, "Oh, nice peace sign," and then of course Ben is like, "Oh yeah, it was a symbol of anti-Christian whatever," and like I really think that it was just meant to be a little like reminder. But again, they didn't tie these loose ends together at any point, so it really just seemed like a weird topic of conversation to throw in there.
Yeah, it just felt like, hey guys, you guys are going to somewhere haunted.
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
Like, hey, this is the first time we're gonna mention it. Here you go. Don't forget.
What I do like about this movie is that once they go into the water, he lets her know you have an hour of oxygen. Use it wisely. If you look at the time, they literally have an hour left of this movie when they're going into the water. So I was like, okay, so it's perfect with the time.
It's clever.
That's very clever.
Nice. It is nice that they did that. I mean, granted, it's not really an hour.
No.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's however fast you're breathing. Like they touch on this in the movie too, but
Yeah, because you have to use your breathing sparingly. Which
But it
for
doesn't
me,
make
I'm
sense.
like, how do I was like practicing. I was just like, how do I have to like Like how? Because at the same time you're swimming, you're using, you're exercising. You know?
I've actually worn not scuba equipment, but the above ground
snorkeling
version.
So you think you're better than me?
No, I'm saying that at my last job, I had to be part of the emergency response team at our chemical site that I worked at, and I had to wear, it's called an SCBA. The U in scuba is for underwater, but it's a self-contained breathing apparatus. And it's a really weird experience the first time that you are breathing air that is forced into your face. So it is something that you need to do a couple times and get used to. Yeah, that's why you have scuba lessons, because you need to show that you're not going to that you can like breathe right and be able to wear the scuba gear safely. But it is like even like a 60-minute tank on an above ground SCBA could last you much less if you are breathing heavily, or if you start panicking and you start hyperventilating. Or if your mask just leaks.
See, that sounds scary to me. This is where they could have benefited. Like, I am happy to be cast as a role as the gay best friend. Like, this is where I'm out. You know what? I'm gonna stay on the surface and I'll just chill here.
You're gonna say that with Daddy Pierre?
With Daddy Pierre. You know, I'll be like, hey Pierre, getting to know you a little bit.
And then this is also where he says like the family motto, right?
Oh yes.
The that is not dead, which can eternal lie. Creepy.
Which I learned it was an H.P.
Lovecraft.
Which I was like, oh, that's cool.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
but
H.P.
also
Lovecraft,
the most ominous.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying also the most ominous thing to say ever. Like, if someone says that before you go in, get out.
I'm out. Yeah, I'm done.
And also, when you ask him to repeat it, he just goes, no, don't worry about it. Like, no. Say it again.
Oh, sorry. No, he was like, oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. Yeah, but H.P. Lovecraft does have like controversies to him. Like he is like a giant like racist and everything. Yeah. So I think it's also added.
Oh, really?
To it. Oh yeah. If you guys want to go,
no.
His cat's name is very, very bad. It's it includes the N-word in there. Yes, and he's also if you read the original Reanimator story, like pretty much the corpses that he revives, they're described as they were black people. And there were monsters and everything. It's really fucked up. He has a really fucked up like past, and it's that dilemma that he created this genre of cosmic horror, and it's amazing that what he did, but unfortunately it suffers from a lot of discrimination and everything.
He suffers from the J.K. Rowling syndrome, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which it saddens me because I really love the movie Reanimator, but I don't associate the movie with him. So
yeah, but I do like that the show Lovecraft. It's all casted by African Americans, and I think it's like a fuck you to him, and I think it's pretty great.
Yeah.
So I do think that I think that's why it's a motto for the family, because they're already a deranged family.
Yeah.
So I think there's added lore to that.
Okay.
I think.
Well, that's interesting.
I took it as because they do all this child sacrifice, they can live forever, so they can't die. They're just waiting for somebody to show up and give them some more people to sacrifice.
More souls.
My thing is, it's child sacrifices. Pierre's not sending children down there. He's sending adults.
True.
Does that matter?
I mean, they were children before.
There were children at some point.
What's the age limit?
Yeah, Pierre.
Like, am I too old to ride this ride, sir?
He's like, I don't know. He just pushes you in the water. Go ahead, just go.
It could just be like Hocus Pocus rules, where it's just like you get the rest of the life that they would have lived, and that's how much longer you live. Who knows?
Oh, I like that.
That could be.
I'll go with that. We'll go with that one.
But I can't wait to get to the part where Ben just happens to know all the rules in like 1 second.
Yep.
Where he reads one thing, the one thing that he didn't even hear, and it was like, God damn it, Pierre. And I'm like, how did you get that? How did you?
He literally said the same thing. He was like, what the fuck?
Wait, how the fuck did he just figure that out?
Yeah, that's me the whole time. That's me the whole time.
So on their way to the house, Tina gets stuck on a branch. They find a very old preserved car, which that's my thing of like, I feel like this area is already like cursed, so that's why nothing in this area is deteriorated.
Yeah.
Like the car.
Yeah, exactly.
They make it to a gate where there's like a hanging falcon on the gate and a Virgin Mary, and I'm out.
Oh, yeah. Like, that was kind of fucking freaky. Also, like, the hawk or whatever the fuck it was, like, stuck there.
Like the falcon. It was preserved, too. And I was like, no.
I don't know. It feels like your standard issue mausoleum. And maybe they have like if this was like an old family home, they may just have their area of their property where all the family gets buried. I don't know. I don't know that that's necessarily weird in and of itself. But what I loved was the car. I actually wish that they would have had it be something where like Pierre, after he leads people to this house, pushes their car into the water. That would have been like if they had like run into stuff like that. That's what I was hoping it was, but it was like an old enough car that it could have just been like preserved from when the area was flooded originally.
That would have been super interesting.
I like the car, but I like your idea better, and I wish they would have found more cars. Damn.
I'll just jump in a time machine and like co-write this movie. Give me some credit.
Oh my god, we should write it ourselves and make it gay.
Yes. I will say this was very effective. While they're going into it, I mean, first off, I'm like, ew, this water looks dirty. Yep. I'm out. That's my like second I'm out. But like at the same time, it was really cool to see like them exploring, and it got me because I was like, oh god, I hate this.
Yeah.
I don't like this. But then it turns really beautiful because you see the town and the structure, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I really dig this. So I really like that they spent some time just letting us explore a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
I do like the shot once they get to the crypt, and you mentioned this one, where he says that I'm Jesus or whatever.
He said Jesus is God is looking over us, so we're safe.
And he does the like he's a Jesus on a cross and floats
Yeah.
up. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that long
looks
shot is fantastic. Like it literally looks like an oil painting, and I was like, that is what I'm here for. Like that's what I want from this movie.
Yeah.
And
it
just more
was really
creepy
cool.
imagery would be great. But
And I told him I feel like this movie would have been better if it was like an 8 kind of 24 movie where like the whole time is just creepy imagery, nothing's really happening, but it just leaves you on the edge of your seat because you don't know when something's gonna happen, and then the last 10 minutes just murder you of like scared and like I don't know, like a Hereditary.
Yeah, that ending for Hereditary like always freaks me out. Like it's like a great ending for that.
For sure.
So they're trying to find a way into the house. Everything's pretty much sealed off except a window where they open it and a fish comes out, and this fucking got me for the third time.
This got us too. this got us too.
It's just I don't know if it was loud. Like it scared the shit out of me.
I feel like you wouldn't really hear much. Actually, it would just be more the movement. But I think that I would like to throw in my I'm out card, because I would have been out the second that I saw that there was a padlock on the outside of the front door.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
If you go to the effort of putting metal sheets over the main door to this house and then lock it from the outside, I do not want to know what you're locking inside.
That's
I will
true.
observe the house from the outside and probably call it a day.
Yeah, wow. And I would have done the same. I was like, oh, pretty house. Nice. It's cute to see. Record it. Bye.
Bye. See you.
Maybe you send Tom in to explore the house from the inside.
Hey, leave Tom out of this. He's been through a lot already.
Are you throwing in your I'm out card for Tom?
Yeah, I will. If I will not let Tom die, I will die myself.
But I would have probably done the same where it's like, I have a drone, so what's the point of me going in there? I can just record. I'm not going to grab anything. I'm not taking anything. The drone can explore the house, and if the drone dies, I at least have the footage saved on my whatever the heck he's recording on and call it a day.
Yeah. I will say I think they were smart to give us a little bit of character to Ben, because we know that Ben is all about the views. He knows that the views will go up if they themselves go in there and film themselves in it.
Yes.
So which is why I think was the reason why they decided to go in and do it themselves, is more about what the views are gonna look like for Ben at least.
For sure. Once they're inside, they find some snow globes, which then they start singing Jingle Bells, and then a fucking creepy doll just pops up on the screen, and I was like, I'm out. That's when I would have flew out the window. I would have not flew out, but I would have swam out that window. You know, the whole time I was writing notes, I was telling him, I'm like, I don't know why I'm writing like walking to the room when they're actually swimming.
They swam into the.
Oh yeah. Did you guys like at some point in this movie forget that it was underwater? Because at some point I was like just watching it as a just regular movie, and then I'm like, oh shit, they're still underwater. It kind of, I forgot about it for a second there. Like later on in the movie.
Yeah, there's a couple shots that at first I was like, wait, did the water just disappear for a second? Like it threw me off.
It does get clear and then like more turbid randomly.
Especially
the movie,
in the scene where Ben goes under the bed.
Yes.
And you just see the person come in. At some point, I'm like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And I'm like, oh, fuck, they're still underwater. This is so crazy.
You think it would have been cool if at one point the water just vanishes and they're actually in the house, but it's not underwater anymore?
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Because it adds to the supernatural aspect of it.
And maybe like
that would have been cool.
They did run out of oxygen, but like the monsters are like, we're gonna fuck with y'all and just remove all the water.
Well, it would have been cool like if like when they go to that basement area, like if there's no water down in that basement, like that's all just normal.
Too.
That would have been fucking freaky.
We're writing the movie as we go.
We're writing the remake.
They do show each other their percentages, and he does tell her, hey, you need to breathe slower, if not you're gonna waste your oxygen super fast.
Yeah, because she's already like 5%.
She's at 84 and she's like 5 under him. Yeah. Which I learned, and I didn't know this because I didn't know anything, that they don't actually use percentage when scuba diving. It's actually PSI. So I was telling him that maybe they use percentage in this movie because audiences can be dumb, like moi. So like I was like, oh, that makes more sense because I wouldn't have fucking knew what 40 PSI means. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
It means pounds per square inch. It's a measure of pressure.
Yeah.
So at 80%, what would that be?
Well,
do it.
It's the math is a little bit more complicated because it depends on whether you want to go by 80% of the pressure or 80% of the volume because it's going to be slightly different. But generally speaking, like the above ground SCBAs that I used to wear for my job would show you like they would get filled to, let's say, like 4,000 PSI, which is a lot of pressure. And then you would be in the danger zone of like running out of air soon once you got below 500.
But it's all just counting down to 0.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
But it's like, but I think, but I think they use percentage because saying 500 PSI already sounds like a lot. So it's like, okay, they're good.
It does.
And it's maybe not really.
And I guess it's one of those things where it's like, everybody knows percentages, so let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easy to just tell.
I do think it makes more sense.
Yeah.
But they do give us like this gigantic bold font. So people are like, it's 80. We're at 80. Like, all right, got it. I'm viewer. I got it.
So as they're exploring the house a little bit, they're moving towards the second floor, and Tina hears a voice in this part. I didn't catch what the voice said.
Yeah, me neither.
But she's like, Ben, did you say something? Ben's like, no, girl, I didn't say anything. And I was like, nope.
Yeah. At this point, we had subtitles off, so we could see the French, and we probably should have turned them back on to see what this voice said because we didn't catch it either.
I didn't
we like
catch it.
Rewound to try to listen to it, and couldn't read it.
It might be just like it's supposed to be just a subtle voice that we hear. Like it not necessarily isn't anything, but
probably.
Yeah, it could just be something.
They find a creepy painting of the family and they call them freaks, which I was like, girl, you gonna piss them off at this point.
Yeah, at that point.
Seriously.
And then they take a selfie.
Oh yeah, they take a little cute selfie for the followers and they say like, share, and subscribe like you guys should do right now.
And that's how they started their video.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were gonna do like the typical YouTube intro, like the "What up, YouTube? It's your boy."
Oh God,
underwater. Like
they should have. That would have been entertaining.
Oh my God. They end up swimming into one of the bedrooms, which is filled with like creepy items. It's like if the Warrens lived in this house before they explored it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, a Conjuring movie underwater.
Oh.
With the Warrens.
You can honestly throw any movie underwater, and like let's try it. Let's try it.
I just want Patrick Wilson swimming shirtless underwater for.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
But anyway,
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. They do see that they had films, but they can't really tell what's on the film because it's like super tiny.
Yeah.
Super 8, right?
Yeah, it's like 8mm like film.
Then there's a.
You know what they say? Film your crimes.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that's true. Or OnlyFans.
Or
I forgot the Montenex. Montenex was their name, right? They filmed everything.
yeah, but also this movie could be like a porno. The Deep House sounds like a, you know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
But they find the same. They have film in the kids' room, so immediately Tina was like, "What were they doing?" And it's like,
Yeah,
you know, we do.
It seemed that the daughter was the one recording the movies for the parents.
I mean, it could.
Yeah, because I think at the end, when they get there, he talks about Sarah, which was one of the one daughter. This shot, I actually did like this shot where Ben turns over to there's the bed and there's a creepy shot of a human figure through the sheets, and I was like,
yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, that got me. Another I'm out.
Mm-hmm. I would have
definitely right here.
Swim right back up the base. Bye, Ben.
See ya. You're not getting your million views.
Yep. This is when Tom starts acting up and it glitches.
Yeah, it starts glitching out a little bit. It's not connecting, I guess, to the like machine he has on him.
So he reboots him.
Yeah.
And they head downstairs.
I will say, no shade to Tom. I'm sure he is perfectly fine, but I just felt every time it glitched, I was like, okay, you got this online for free somewhere. Like the glitch effect just looks so cheap in my opinion. Like for me, like a franchise that does it really well is like a Paranormal Activity, like those movies that like does glitches. That was really good. But this one, I was like, you got this online somewhere for free. Like,
look, I am so glad you mentioned that because I have that's one thing that I hate from found footage movies is that this motherfucker said this is a 4K drone and everything, and every time he turns it on, it like does this glitchy thing, and I'm like, why would it do that? Like, first of all, then a fish hits it a little bit. It's filled with like all this armor on it, and it's like, oh, that ruined it. And it's like, no.
Well, Tina suggests that, and Ben's like, maybe. And I was like, that fish is like slime. Anyway, and I mean, I am glad you brought that up because that's one. I am a slut for found footage. I've said that here on the podcast before. Love it to a certain extent. But when everything starts glitching and they're overdoing it, I'm like, y'all need to stop. Yeah. And I get it. You're playing with the supernatural stuff is doing. It's like I get that, but like sometimes they overdo it, and I'm like, okay, we're done. Like,
it happens in places where it doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, if it's happening, do something with that.
Yeah. Also, like,
or put like a face or a figure in it, like that's kind of creepy. Something.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to do. Like you have it, like you see something in the glitching, or like just have it be what like supposedly actually happens in haunted houses where the battery just goes from full to zero.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what's going on, but then like the next room it turns on and it's perfectly fine. Like you could do creepy stuff like that instead of just like you said, this cheap glitchy effect that seems to be used as like a transition more than anything else.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it also it bothers me because it's like I said, this is a 4K advanced camera. It shouldn't be happening with that. Paranormal Activity makes sense because this is like early 2000s. So it's like the technology isn't all that there. So I understand it there, but I don't know. It just kept bothering me. And every time I see it, it's like you said, a transition. It's trying to hide a lot of it looks cheap. So they kind of try to make it more exciting with all the different jump cuts. So
there's one that happens that kind of got me, but now it's kind of funny now when we see it. But anyways, we'll get there.
Okay.
But on the topic of this room, before we go, this is like where I really first started getting a sense that this family was into some bad stuff. Because you're like, there was a pentagram on the doll's forehead. And with like these weird symbols. And then you walk into this room and they have all of these photos of kids that are pierced onto the antlers.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you are if you're stabbing people's pictures onto antlers, I think you're probably doing something that's not good.
You need therapy.
You need some milk, cause
You need.
I agree. There's one that I was like, yeah, they're definitely doing stuff to kids when they have a collage of missing people's posters, and I was like, well,
yeah.
Well, and did you notice that the missing people's posters, and this is like a little bit further, but the actual pictures of the missing people that are posted up on the wall are the same photos as were pierced on the antlers.
Oh no, I didn't notice that.
I didn't catch.
Which is another thing that like I would have had I don't understand why this family would be putting pictures of the missing kids on the wall of their home as if it was like the town square, and like you're trying to show people like, you know, here are all these kids that are missing. Like, this is another thing that you could easily just put a little like town square bulletin board outside the family property, and you introduce all the pictures of the kids, and then you get that like, oh shit, stomach droppy feeling when you see those same kids on the antlers later in the house itself.
Yeah, that would
have
cool.
been better. Yeah, for sure. It felt like they're like, hey, welcome to our home. Look at these missing kids. Have you seen any of them?
Or it's like, I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like they just kind of like, we just care so much. We just go and grab them, and we always remind ourselves every morning we have to save these kids. Like, I just really care,
and we're grateful for our children. They get to the front door of the house, which they open, and obviously is blocked, and there's scratches all over the door. I'm out there because I'm like Ben said, oh, they must have had somebody in here that was trying to get out, and I'm like, no fucking shit. Like, who the fuck is just gonna leave scratches on a door and nothing's wrong?
Honestly, half of the time I'm like, every time Ben is talking, I'm just
shut
like,
the fuck up, bitch.
Like, I can't with Ben. Like, I get it, Ben. Stop it.
This is when they hear the piano.
Oh,
and I would have been, I'm out. Like, why is there a piano playing underwater?
Oh, for sure. I'm like, I'm losing my mind.
And
I need to get out of here.
And Tina's like, oh my God, another diver? Like
what, from where?
What?
Tina, girl.
Pierre? Is that you?
And Pierre's just killing it at the piano.
And then he tries to explain
Taking song requests.
Cash at me $5.
He's like, Mom, this one is for you.
And I like that he tries to explain it away that one of the strings must have snapped because of the erosion. I'm like, I don't think they would sound as clear as day.
No.
Yeah,
like
it wouldn't.
No. And this is when they get to the dining room and they're swimming through it, and the drone feels a presence, but Ben is like, there's no one here, so I don't know why it's feeling a presence.
Yeah, because it just says motion detection.
Yeah,
active
and
or something.
Tina's
like
already on edge, and I get it, girl. Like, I understand your edginess. Like, I want to leave already too, but your man don't listen. So
seriously,
this is when they find a collage of the missing children, and they find that weird. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you leave at this point. Comes my favorite scene, or one of my favorites. They head into the kitchen, and Tom starts to glitch. And it starts blacking out, and then seconds later,
Jesus Christ!
Because of face, Jesus Christ disappears on the screen.
Oh my God.
It just appears out of nowhere, and this is where I'm out because this statue is huge.
Yeah, in the middle of the fucking.
It's way too much. I'm like,
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's also like it's very performative on the like the side of this family who is who sacrifices children to the devil. That, like, you know, I feel like you're overcompensating a little bit with the size of this crucifix in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Also, I actually feel like, and I could be completely making this up, that the chairs on the table are a reference because it's a poltergeist reference for one.
Yes, I said the same thing.
And I think, and this is the part that I could be making up. I might be misremembering, but I think that there is a similar thing that Poltergeist actually may be referencing in the original Tale of Ichabod Crane and Sleepy Hollow with the Headless Horseman. I think that he comes back into his schoolhouse at one point and all the chairs are stacked in the center of the room, even though it was like locked overnight. There was no way to do it. So that's also what I was getting a little bit, but I think it was just like your basic, like like ghost story reference. They have floating candelabras that are like a similar thing. That like I feel like a floating candelabra is the number one thing that I think of when I think of a haunted house.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, that's true because that's in the background of the dining room.
Yeah.
But the chair thing, the minute I saw it, I was like, that's a Poltergeist reference in case because you haven't seen it, right?
No, I just thought they were playing chair Jenga. That's it. I was like, who won?
Your classic chair Jenga. Party favorite.
I was like, in Poltergeist, there's a scene where the chairs are stacked up in the kitchen, and I really think that they're doing the same thing here.
I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
This is this part, like a lot of this stuff that we're exploring here is really cool for me because it does add to the ghost paranormal because you're underwater, so a lot of things are floating around.
Yeah.
So it's not that crazy, but I could have used a little bit more haunting stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe have the crucifix that Jesus like maybe turn his head or do something small that made it seem more because I'm actually looking at some pictures right now, and during the shrine for the kids there is a clown head. I don't know if you guys remember that, but there's like a clown head sculpture that could have been used more as of like maybe it came alive or blinked or something like that.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of goosey goosebumps here.
I don't do clowns.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't notice. I'm
It's
glad I
super
did
quick.
not notice that.
It's quick.
Oh, thank God.
you might have been right.
Oh yeah, I wish I could show you what I'm looking at right now, but yeah, it's
very
creepy.
It's very John Wayne Casey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
When like the thing is that I was telling him, I always have an issue with like found footage because it's always like very to your face. And I think it would work if horror was very subtle, where it's like something happening in the background that if you miss it, you miss it. But once you catch it, it gives you chills on your body. Because this is the scene where we find out that they have there's two corpses down in the basement.
They removed Jesus.
Jeez.
From
Jesus Christ!
They removed him, and they opened the door. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna pull a Kanye, but I want to ask a question.
Continue this.
I want to ask a question. Well, I wanted to ask a question. Do you guys think that once they removed the statue of Jesus, that's when they became stuck in the house? Because I believe that before that they were able to leave at any moment if they wanted to, but once they removed the Jesus, they let more of the evil in, having them actually now stuck in that brick magical wall appearing on the window.
So that's an interesting thought, like, because I'm kind of questioning how we got here in terms of like from when the house originally had the people who were sacrificing kids to the devil, and the townspeople came in and basically fucked them up, and we're like, we're not down with this shit. Also, we're gonna flood this valley, like just cause of y'all. And I almost feel like maybe if I'm just gonna piece this together because I didn't get it from the movie. That like if the townspeople had come in and like strung up the people in their like murder room and then put the crucifix on the door to like hold that evil back, that I think that would be I think that's a good theory, that taking the crucifix off the wall kind of exposed the rest of the house to the evil, and now they are trapped there with the family. Because
I feel like the evil was always there because obviously they're seeing and hearing things already. But I feel like once the cross was removed, they just let it all out. Yeah.
I think the only thing that kind of debunks that is the silhouette that they saw earlier.
No, and that's what I'm saying.
That's what I wanted to say too. Yeah. I kind of want to think that their fates weren't decided until they removed the
Jesus Christ!
Thank you. Their fates were decided because at that point, I think they were just stuck in there until they found a way out. Yeah. But once they removed that, and I think you kind of had to remove it in order to get out, right?
Because don't they go through there to find the other room that leads to a home theater that leads to a cave? Through there. Yeah.
They have to go back through there.
Where's the blueprint of the house?
Assuming that
yeah, we need a map. Someone give him a map.
Assuming that the brick wall showed up before they removed the crucifix, then yes, they would have had to remove it to get out.
All in all, what I'm trying to say is that I think they could have figured something out until then, but once they removed that let out the ghost that would ultimately kill them.
Yes.
Yeah. I think. My
okay.
Yeah.
I like that too.
It's my opinion.
I do like all of our theories, and they're all valid.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice that there were like in the room after they removed the crucifix and they're walking in, that they had like a bunch of nooses just hanging casually on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
And they just did never notice, you know. They're like, well, whatever. Oh, look at that creepy painting.
Yeah.
There's like a dead body right next to them. They're like, oh, that painting is super freaky.
Look
Don't
at that
like
mannequin
that.
head.
Yeah.
So this is when they find the room. They find more film in this basement area, and then they look over, and there is Daddy and Mommy just hanging there dead.
Daddy, chill.
And you said that this shot of them looked very like Saw.
It's
From, like,
super Saw. It has that green tone to it, and it totally reminded me. Of course, they're also like trapped in this weird elaborate thing.
Yeah.
That's all rusted and everything. And this is where I feel like the found footage thing could have been really well shot, because I think like they're supposed. Okay, we find out that they're alive somehow, right?
Yeah.
I think we find that out later because they see this and they freak out. Then they try to leave. Then they come back, and that's when they wake up.
And I think they could have.
But why do they wake up at that point?
Because I think their alarm went off. I don't remember.
Because they go in there. He goes to check something, and she's not having it because she's like, "There's dead people next to me. We gotta go."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "We gotta call the police." And he's like, "We're not gonna call the police because they're gonna take my memory card."
Let me record this real quick. I need more shots. It's like, first of all, you're not using this. Like, YouTube doesn't allow that.
Yeah, that's gonna get you demonetized. Like, come on.
But he's like, I need more views. He's doing like the Jake Paul. I think this is supposed to be that commentary with Jake Paul, like the whole dilemma he got himself into.
For sure.
And I'm like, bro, you're not gonna use this.
But they go up to the attic. The window is sealed, which honestly, that's a fear of mine, going somewhere and then going back, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? I fucking hated that.
That was effective.
Yeah.
That was effective. The minute that, and we both had a reaction to it when they opened the door and it was sealed off. I was like, oh, now it's getting good. All right. I mean, it never gets any better. But like from there, at that point, I had hope. I was like, oh shit, let's go. Well, like I thought that was pretty cool.
They established that they're at 44% oxygen, and then there's a really good shot of the girl behind Ben that's really fucking creepy. But then they overdo it by showing her face, and I'm like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. And this is where I'm like, this is like creepy in the background, like she's floating towards them.
And that's super fucking
and
creepy.
She's like all in shadow. That's so fucking effective. But then they ruin it by like having this third camera that just zooms in like Sam Raimi, like close-up shot of her scared, like her screaming. And it's like, you ruined it there.
It would have been better if we cut back to Tina, and then when Ben turns around, the figure's gone. That would have been more effective. And this is my complaint with this movie. It's like they're doing a scare, but then they want to show the monster up close, and I'm like, they're actually not that creepy looking. They just look like they got makeup on and they're underwater. They're better.
Well, and was that? I thought that was one of the sons. Actually,
that was Sarah.
It was the
that
daughter.
It was.
No, it was the daughter. Yeah, I don't think there's any more.
It was one of the kids at least that we didn't see again after this scare.
It's Pierre or it's
because there's only 4 of them.
Yeah, it's 4.
There's only 4 of them. So
I thought there were 2 sons and a daughter.
Well, because at some point it gets kind of crazy that we don't know what the fuck is happening. But like, but I think it's the mom, the dad, the daughter, and Pierre was the one who ran away.
Yeah. Okay. And they do this where like they look good and effective when they're far away and kind of swimming towards you, because that's creepy. But the minute you get closer to them, it's like I don't want to see them up close. Keep them in the distance. But
because it kind of just looks like a pale person with like zombie eyes, which is like, oh, you don't look scary. You don't look like you've been living your ghost underneath here for several years. You know, like you give me something really cool to look at if you're going to do that. Also, at some point, the one effective jump scare that they had was the fish, which is really funny because it's just a CGI fish that came out. But like, at that point, they knew what a jump scare was, but after that, they didn't know how to execute jump scares, because at some point, it was like scary thing, then bah, and I'm like, all right, it's not it's not effective anymore.
That's
You know, like
yep, that's where I lost it.
It's kind of like like haunted house, Halloween Horror Nights, kind of like jump scare fest.
those cringy moments where like somebody pops up thinking they scared you, and you're like, I kind of saw this coming. You know, like,
yeah, like and that's my issue. It's always to your face. It's always like it has to be in front of the camera but it's like sometimes found footage could be boring, but if you miss something in the background, like imagine this whole movie, there's always someone in the background, but we never notice it. But once you notice it, it's like, oh shit, it's there.
that is one of my favorite moments, and we haven't even covered this on the podcast yet, but we spoke about Hereditary. The scene where like the son is sleeping and Toni Collette is in the corner of the ceiling. And once Cody figured that out, he was like, oh, fuck no.
Yeah, we go into the scene and I'm like, please tell me she is not on the fucking scene.
And I'm holding his hand. I'm like, babe, she's there. She's there. That is an effect. It's so simple but effective. It really creeped me out. And I felt like they could have done it here. Because we don't know this house. We don't know. Because we were very kind of, what's the word? We were scrambled a little bit because we don't know how the outline of the house is. You could have really snuck things in the corners here and there.
Yeah,
and used like the creepy items around the house, like the little horse thing that he like
plays with.
When he plays with, that could have moved later on, and but it could have came back and moved by itself, and like, oh no.
Yeah, like
the
Or
clown.
like it kept moving after he got off of it way longer than it should have. Like,
or even like this the sheet thing that he sees a person to, like it'd be creepy if they're looking at something else and in the background you see it kind of moving by itself, and it's like it could just be normal water movement, or it's something fucking happening, or something else.
Yeah,
but it's something
absolutely.
that it's always been my issue with like modern like found footage movies, is that it's always to your face. It's always like, hey, look, it's right here. This creepy thing is right here.
Yeah, it's no Deborah Logan.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
no.
You have not seen that movie yet.
I have not seen it.
Oh, I fucking love that.
I'm just gonna say you're gonna love the director in that movie. Yeah. That's my favorite character in that movie. It's fantastic.
Oh, now we gotta see it.
It's great.
We gotta see it for the channel.
We'll put it on the list. Yeah, we'll watch it for the channel.
Hell yeah.
It has a creepy poster. So
well, if you guys decide to invite us for that one, I'll be so down.
All right, no, we got you.
I love that movie. So so the creepy girl behind them, and then they're trying to find a way out. They're trying to break windows. They're trying to break whatever they can, and they cannot.
Yeah.
And then they find a fish, and they're like, if a fish is in here, there's a way out. And it's like, I mean, yeah, kind of, sure. But you know how big you are compared to this fish?
She did not take that into consideration.
She did not. And I love that this fish might be possessed, because he kind of leads them back to the basement. He's like, hey, this is the way out.
I don't know if he's possessed, but I know his ass is CGI.
Oh, it's so bad. They really, like, they ran out of their money at this point. They were just like, we're gonna CGI this fish.
I think the worst CGI in this movie is the rocks. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and it's also so funny because they make a point of the fact that the fish are avoiding this house, and there's this huge ass catfish that's just like showing up randomly just for the jump scares and for no other purpose.
Yep.
And
It's
I'm
actually one of the eels of Ursula's. It got lost.
Is it Flotsam or Jetsam?
It's Flopsam for sure.
Flopsam?
Because that's what this is, flop. No, I'm kidding.
honestly, I would have loved Ursula to come into this movie and go, keep singing when the song comes on.
Yes.
So the fish leads them into the basement again where the people are, and they do find an opening, but obviously it's barred up and they don't fit through there.
Yeah.
And this is when the song, the French version of "You Don't Owe Me" starts playing, I guess.
You don't own me. Je t'aime aussi voir aujourd'hui.
Okay.
Bro, that was
Wait,
not
is that
French.
really?
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, no. Well, really good. Oh, my God. I was like, okay.
All I know,
getting
I
hot.
said je t'aime because je t'aime is like, I love you. So,
It
I love-
is.
yeah.
that's it. That's the only word I know.
Smart. You got away with it because we were.
I thought I was like you learned a song.
Yep.
I thought you.
I actually really love this song, and
Me too.
if you really think about this scene, it's kind of silly. Like, I don't know if we're at this point, but the scene where like Tiffany? Tina. I said Tiffany. Tina gets all wrapped
Tiffany,
up in the chains.
It would be a much better movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
oh yeah.
But like the scene where she gets wrapped up in the chains. Are we there yet?
Yeah,
Are
we're
we
here.
there?
This is when this starts happening.
Yeah.
It
if
just
you think
becomes red and confusing.
if you think about it, yeah, it does look confusing. It does look a little bit silly, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
It's
I
a little
kinda like this
campy.
scene.
It's a little campy, and I love it.
campy.
Yeah.
Because Ben, I don't know where Ben goes. I kind of lost Ben at this point.
Yeah, for real.
Ben was like, "Oh, she's fucking dead. Bye. See ya."
But
no, he does say at some point after she wakes up from this trance that he was like, "I was here the whole time."
Yeah.
yeah,
He
which
said
was
that.
weird.
I mean, it would have been a really interesting twist if like she hadn't actually been flailing around, that like she
Got possessed or something?
like she saw these bodies moving, everything went red, the chains are like grabbing her and she's freaking out, and then it cuts back to Ben just watching her like be still and transfixed, just like staring at one of the bodies.
but we
Like,
don't.
that would have
We
been
don't
cool.
get that back and forth.
We don't.
But the scene does last a long time. Like
Yeah.
they play the whole song pretty much.
And,
Like,
and my only issue with this scene is that like it was long, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I could not tell what the fuck was happening, because it's just like she's moving and the water's all murky.
what would have
and
been
she's
funny?
like,
What would have been funny if like at it kind of cut, like first you go into the song and she's like the music is flailing and she's like, oh no, but then you cut to like it's just no music and she's like she's just like stuck in the chain. You just hear clinking and clanking and we're like, okay girl, stop, just take a moment.
you watch her like stick the hook in her own leg.
Oh yeah, that does happen.
Ben
forgot about
watches
that.
her like, "What are you doing, Tina?"
Yo, Tina.
He's like, you okay?
Oh my
Stop
God.
messing around, we gotta get out of here.
This could have been great. She's in a trance, so he's like, "Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up!"
Yes.
So what I did like about this scene is because they're under a well from what she established, I guess.
Yeah.
And she tries to open it, and it's obviously locked. But when she looks down, the people are gone.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. And then she gets she does the dance, she gets the hook in her. Very Hellraiser.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, Hellraiser got her ass. That's it."
But I think it's like with the lighting and the song, I kind of got lost in it.
Yes.
Like in a good way. Like I was just like tranced myself.
Yeah.
Which maybe they wanted to do that on purpose, or maybe it just my experience. But I mean, that's why I kind of liked it, because I kind of got lost in a trance a little bit.
You know what I realized?
With her.
I might be just going far into this. Every time there was a red light, it was because Tom was possessed. So what if we were watching it from Tom's point of view? Because every time Tom is possessed, there's red lighting.
I forgot about the red lighting, honestly.
Yeah, it's
But
like every time.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
So it could be. I mean, I think we're supposed to see it through her eyes. Like it's just like
that too.
whenever she's in her trance, like Tom's light turns
Yeah.
on.
I was just trying to sound like very like, oh, look how I'm reading this movie.
Oh yeah, you're very artistic. I'm gonna call you an artistic hoe.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Artistic hoe of the pod.
Yeah.
That's her title from now on.
But this is when she kind of snaps back, and Ben's like, I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, and like the corpses are there.
And the corpses are back. This is when he removes their mask, and I was like, please don't have your eyes.
Daddy, chill.
Yeah.
Like Ben, that's too much.
Yeah. Well, another thing. Do you think the bodies were asleep until their masks get removed? Because the masks were supposed to represent like
shame.
Shame or something.
Yeah. It was a mask of shame. That was their whole thing.
Maybe.
And it could
Or
be.
maybe it's that like since like they basically affected Tina to the point that the hook got in her, and then like maybe the blood woke them up.
Oh, that too.
Because they
That's
were
a
under a
good one.
panagram, I think.
Yeah.
Like it would have been a cool twist if like they were like vampires or something, and it was like the blood, like they're sharks and they can smell it.
Oh, I like
That's
that. And under
true.
the pentagram too, like sacrifice blood. Okay. I like that too.
And-
Because I feel like every scuba diver that goes down there is like, let me see your face, and then out of nowhere they were able to get loose.
I mean,
which is also a thing. Anyway, but I don't know. Doesn't explain.
yeah, no. I mean, this is like we're giving it a lot of credit. Like it's really not explaining any of it. So it's just up to our interpretation. So
I will say I do like that the bodies for most of the movie, since they are dead, you don't see air bubbles coming out of them, which kind of is like that's a nice little touch. Because dead people don't breathe.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, the only shot that you see is at the very end.
Yeah, they're like,
and
I
was like, oh, there's bubbles there, and then he was like, oh, damn, they ruined it.
No.
This is when they try to escape through the chimney, and it fails, and all these CGI rocks fall on them, and Ben ends up in one room. Tina stays downstairs. And I do love that when she cuts herself, it's very anticlimactic because she falls slowly.
Yeah, with the rope, she cuts the rope.
She cuts the rope, and she's like,
this.
Oh.
Well, and this scene also took me out of it because, like, you're trying to tell me that this like the chimney collapsed or something, right? That's why all these actual pebbles are falling on her. Not very quickly, but somehow she gets knocked out, and yet. Even though she gets hit with so much force that she gets knocked out, her relatively fragile diving equipment is not damaged at all.
Yup. Yeah, I was like,
I don't buy that.
No.
Yeah, I was like, how's your tank not bent, broken, or leaking?
Well, like your tank is probably the toughest thing that you're wearing by far because it has to hold in that much air.
That's
but
true.
like the hoses that it's connected to, your face mask isn't all scratched up. Like something, show me something that is supposed to tell me that you just got buried in an avalanche of rocks.
The only one that's Ben's mask shatters, which realistically it would.
But that was after he got attacked by the ghost, though.
Yeah, he was
that's right.
possessed, I think, at this point.
That's
At that
right.
point where his mask gets broken.
Oh, she punched him hard.
I mean,
She's not messing around.
no, not at all.
This is when Tina is trying to find she's with Tom, the robot, and Tom is evil because he's trying
has
to
a red light.
Haha, follow me. And Ben is hiding in the bedroom where the mom walks in and he hides. I didn't like this shot because she walks into the room and he's pointing the flashlight at her and he's like, oh, I should be hiding, shouldn't I? And then he goes under the bed and I'm like, she definitely saw you.
Oh yeah, he was like halfway going and she already opened the door. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
But isn't this also so real? Like something all of us have experienced where like it's after your bedtime and you are reading a book or like doing something and your mom opens the door and you're like, oh shit, and you like try to hide everything, but she knows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to when I was like, I can't fall asleep without the TV on, and she didn't like that, my mom. So like I would have the TV on and the volume like at 0 and just watch the cartoons. But what I would do is, because I couldn't lock the door, or sometimes I would lock the door and say I forgot. But what I would do is I would put a towel under the door so she wouldn't see the light of the TV come out of the room. And then, but one time, and I always had the remote in my hand ready to turn it off. But one time she came in and I turned it off real quick, but she noticed, and I was like, "Oh, sorry." I think I got my
See, what I used to do is I was always up playing Pokemon on my Game Boy Advance, and I had a little like thing that attached to the top that was basically like a light because they didn't have backlit
I remember
screens
those.
at that point.
Yep.
I remember
And
those.
so I made a little like fort out of pillows so that you couldn't see the light as you're like walking into the room, so I could just like shut it quick if anyone walked in. I was sneaky.
That was smart.
Mine is a little bit on the dirty side. I'm getting vulnerable here. I used to think that I had supersonic hearing because I feel like I was trained to make sure to hear when my mom was coming to my door or anything like that. But oh God, I can't believe I'm going to admit this.
I love it.
So for some reason, I don't know if you able to, but like in old TVs, when you get to like the porn channels, it like had the like weird like wobbly footage, but you can kind of make out like things that were happening in the background. So that was my way of watching porn at like when I was younger, was just like trying to see like, okay, I see a penis, I see boobs, I see like something, but it's like kind of like weird. And I would always train myself to hear when my mom is coming, and I'll just quickly like change the channel. I'm like, I'm watching cartoons. Don't worry about it.
Well, funny that you mentioned, you mentioned a dirty one. Mine was also kind of dirty. It wasn't a TV. But I used to have like a little tiny laptop, and like when we moved from Puerto Rico here, like I would have like I would sleep in like a separate room, and obviously it's super bright. You could see it, and I guess I had the sound a little bit too high, so all you be hearing is all those noises, and.
Yes.
Out of nowhere, my mom goes to opens the door, and I like slam the laptop, and it's like. Obviously, she heard that. Like, there is no way I don't have a laptop in between my legs right now that's burning up. And she's like, "Let me see that." And I'm like, "Mom, I'm naked."
Oh my god! No.
And I think she was like, "I'm gonna leave this one out. Like, I'm not gonna investigate."
Yeah.
We did have HBO when we were younger, like on Channel 48. I don't know for anyone that remembers.
Damn, you
that.
remember?
I remember the channel.
Yeah.
And HBO After Dark was very dark. And after a while, I noticed that then my mom started putting a child combination on there. So I was like, oh, she probably knew what I was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because she put a fucking lock on it. And it was a 4-digit lock, and I never figured it out. So I said, fuck it. And it was after a certain time, it would just block. And I was like,
interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, let's talk
about the deep house.
Yeah, let's get deep into this again. Tina then gets chased by Daddy M, and she ends up in front of the bedroom because Ben now got punched in the face by Sarah, so now he's kind of possessed. And
this was like the one door that was locked on the second floor when they were exploring it earlier, because they tried the doors and only one was locked, and that was this one because Ben tried it from the other side and it was still locked and he couldn't get out.
Yes.
Well, at this point, I'm just like so frustrated because I was like, wow, they really got taken down pretty fast.
But
like he just hides and he's like, oh no, you're there. And I'm like, oh fuck.
But also, like, isn't it interesting that in this house of people who are worshiping the devil, the only room that is locked is the room that the kids sleep in?
Yeah, that's kind of freaky.
That was really freaky. I didn't like the way she came at Ben because it felt very Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not scary.
Because that's another thing. It's like, I love that shot where she's walking and then just immediately stands in front of him. And I was like, oh, that's fucking
and it's
freaky.
The mom. It's not her.
Oh, yeah.
She appears next to him, which I was like, oh,
yeah.
no. So as she finds Ben is now talking very monotone, so obviously he's very possessed.
I found this so amusing because it's
really
so
funny.
bad because he's like, I am evil now. And
He
we're
says-
all
he
gonna
says,
die.
Hey, baby
I'm
girl.
better now.
It's like, what the fuck?
She then has a very tiny snake that crawls through her and ends up on her mask. And she established early in the movie that she hated snakes. And
Yeah, that's true.
I do have a question. Maybe one of y'all know. If she would have taken her mask off, wouldn't she have like died?
Because
From
of
the
the
pressure?
pressure.
Probably not.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be easy as she
It would.
did
Yeah,
it.
it wouldn't have been fun. But they're only like. They're only like 30 or 40 meters down. They're not very far down because you can still see light. Like you can see sunlight in the water.
That's
so they're
true.
not super far down.
My thing
it would
is-
hurt a lot, which is why she probably just like takes it off just to like expel the snake and then puts it back on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, like her body is also having to live under that pressure without having any issues. So like it's not like it's so heavy that it'll crush her.
Oh, that's true.
See, my thing was I would freak out. Like if I'm pretty nervous about snakes, but I'm more nervous about spiders. So if there was a spider inside my thing, I would freak out and make sure because she like just took it off and I was like, ugh.
And we don't
And then
see
just
it.
put it
we
back
don't
on.
see-
I'm like-
yeah, we don't see it swim out. We don't.
Yeah, we don't see it swim out. That could still be in there.
Yeah.
I would have.
Also,
Oh yeah.
I feel like I don't like fully understand how this mask stays on her face if she can just pull it straight off. Like I feel like there have to be like straps and stuff that are
true.
holding it on.
And
Like we know that they actually
easy.
filmed this underwater with real scuba equipment, so it has to be at least legit. But it was just very strange to me that she could just be like, boop, and now it's off.
That's so true. I didn't think about that.
You would think she starts going like this side. No, yeah, she just slides it off. That's true.
Yeah.
But I also do like that it doesn't nothing. I mean, she's seen some things at this point, right?
Yeah.
She saw Daddy at some point like rush to her, which actually was pretty scary.
That was
not
good.
too scary, but it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm. And the lighting and the lights, the chandelier turning on, which underwater,
Yes,
like
that was cool.
Yeah, but
I wish I got more of it.
yeah, that was Ben communicating from the upside down. That's what it was.
If only they brought a light bright.
it was Vecna. But yeah,
But I do like this part that like she's seen some things at this point and then ends up going to him and being like, "Are you okay?" She doesn't get it that he's like not acting himself. Like she's still very like optimistic, and I'm like, "Girl, no."
like you can tell they started dating like maybe 2 weeks ago because she still doesn't know this guy.
Because even though he's like,
Yeah.
I feel better now. She's like, baby, where are you
must
okay,
you
baby?
must be in shock.
Yeah, I feel like I would know immediately if you were possessed.
Oh yeah.
Because you would finally be nice to me.
I was gonna say the same thing, not about y'all, but about me. Like if I was possessed, you would notice because I'll probably be like, "Good morning."
Yeah,
and
I'm
I
like,
don't do that.
every morning with this motherfucker. I'm like, what's wrong? No, you're too nice today. What is happening?
But he's telling her that he knows the way out, so they swim over towards back into the basement. Behind like this cabinet, there's a door that leads into a very fancy home theater with surround sound.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you have this hidden back here? This should be like out in the open so people could see. But
Yeah, I mean, if you feel so fine literally videotaping you sacrificing children, why do you have to hide your home theater?
Yeah.
In which I'm assuming that you watch the same videotapes, right?
And it was a nice home theater. I was like, that's actually
It was
a
really nice.
room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I get angry because I think you were arguing with me on this one. I was like, how are you having a functional movie theater underwater? Which is like, okay, maybe we need to suspend like disbelief a little bit here.
Yeah.
We kind of have to go with the movie. But the thing is, the movie before it, like the whole 40 minutes before, didn't establish that all these like paranormal things was happening except for the people who are haunting, right? Nothing like from the walls came alive that made me like think that like, oh, okay, like this house is doing these things.
But like this is where your idea earlier about suddenly like there's just some transition where they're not underwater anymore, that they're like transported back into this house that's like, we know that it's still underwater, but there's no water anywhere. Like she has to like take off her mask and walk around with her like flippers off or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really interesting because this is another like I'm out card that how does this guy who's now not acting normal anymore, how does he just know how to find this movie theater? Like he has to go move a bookshelf and go through like this tunnel. Well, yeah, I understand that he's possessed, but like But if I was in these shoes, I would be like, how do you know this was here? And why didn't you just take me here earlier when we were down here?
Yeah, because
what changed about you?
Yeah, because he took her there. He didn't.
He lived there. Like he was paying rent.
Oh, and we forgot to mention this is where he looks at the family tree and goes, "Pierre, you motherfucker."
Like,
well, also notice how like Pierre's photo is conveniently not there.
Yeah.
They have the photos of the rest of the people on the family tree and like his isn't there. But the movie also doesn't zoom in enough for you, the audience, to see that it says Pierre.
Right.
So you're just assuming that he's looking at it and reading it correctly, even though the movie has already established he cannot read or speak French.
Yep.
So I don't understand how he got this. But
well, because we saw a YouTuber say like it would have made more sense that Tina connected these things instead of Ben, which is fair. Like it doesn't make sense that Ben was like, "Oh my god," which does he even tell Tina?
Nope.
No, because he gets possessed.
Because he's already possessed by the time she sees him. So Tina never finds out.
Never finds out what the fuck is happening with everything. So
right now, she just thinks he's a creeper.
Even if she made it out alive, she would have still been like, "Pierre, help me!" Like Pierre would have fucked her up at that point.
Yeah, which I feel like if she would have made it out, he probably was already waiting to kill her.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
So,
Either way.
Yeah, I just don't like that. It's like the smallest little thing, and Pierre's like, "Oh, Pierre!" Like, such a lazy way of telling us that Pierre was in it, and also just like the film that we see now.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, guys, the movie's almost over, so we're gonna show you a movie within a movie." So
it
here
was
you
rushed.
Go. Yeah.
It was for sure.
Yeah,
rushed.
somebody filmed the girl filming all the stuff.
Yeah.
How did that work?
Oh yeah, that's true. Because she was film. Anyway,
Dude, I'm telling you,
it was Pierre. It was Pierre the
Pierre.
whole time. But we're basically the backstory is that they would take the children of the town, sacrifice them. Like I said, very Nightmare on Elm Street. And then the locals decided to barge into their house and sacrifice them too, or kill them. And they're the ones that flooded the town. That's what happened? From what I'm getting.
I think the town flooded like not immediately after, but it flooded in like the 80s. They said.
Okay, because I was like, did they know the town was gonna flood, so they tied these people inside of their house because they knew they would.
I think
die?
so.
Yeah, possible.
Okay.
In my brain, that's where the story went. They never really said that, but that's what I choose to believe.
Yeah.
Does that seem like the most like easy option?
Yeah.
Like, wait, no, like flood the town?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Why not just burn them at the stake or whatever?
No, because that makes too much sense.
1800s.
That makes too much sense.
Why not just flood the town instead? Everyone else gets to leave their homes. They can just leave all those reminders of their dead kids behind and go move somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then
Fair.
just go swimming on top of the graves of their dead kids. It would be so much fun.
Oh God! Now that you put it that way, though.
Well,
So dark.
Because it's like, so if the townspeople knew the town was gonna flood, they're like, okay, we gotta kill them or chain them up here, board up the whole house so they can't escape. Which another thing is like, whose scratch marks were there? Were they the daughters? Because the daughter didn't get chained up.
maybe.
Yeah, it might have been the daughter.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, if we like, because the scratch door, the bricked up like window, I was getting kind of like Poe vibes from this.
Yeah.
Like the bricked up wall from the Cask of Amontillado, where
Like
the
Poe
guy
from the
like
Teletubbies?
no, like Edgar Allan Poe. You should have said Poe from Star Wars. That would have been better. But that's beside the point.
I'm a Teletubby stan, all right?
So like, you have the fact that you got walled in from the Cask of Amontillado,
Yeah.
the like scratches, the bloody scratches on the inside of what looked like a brass door was very much the fall of the House of Usher, which is also about a family that just got, like completely breaks and falls apart. And it was the daughter that left the scratches into. But the thing that like, I completely lost my train of thought here.
Yeah, you were going pretty well.
I
Like, I
was.
was like, wow.
I'm waiting.
I'm like, let's go.
Okay.
I was like, that was good.
No, it's gone now.
No!
It's gone.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I
disappointing.
will say, I think your point was that this movie is way too sophisticated for us, and we don't understand it. That's it.
That could be it. That could
true.
very well have been
That's
it.
true.
I do feel like they were trying to like put too much into one movie.
This
Yeah.
movie is not for peasants like us.
Exactly. This is
Sorry.
A25.
Damn.
But as he tells the story, then Tina's like, surprise, or not Tina. Sarah's like, surprise, bitch. I've been behind the screen the whole time.
I bet she thought you see the last of me. I wish that they would have explained like what sacrificing children did for the family, like it, because they didn't go into like what did they get from it? Did they get eternal life? Is that why the family motto is what it is, or were they just like doing it for fun? You know, it's boring in this town. You gotta like sacrifice some kids on the weekends.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
I don't understand.
Yeah, they probably just got annoyed. They were playing in the outside, and then the little kids are always like, "Hey, can you pass the ball?" I accidentally, threw it over there.
Yard.
Yeah, like, and they're like, you know what? Let's just sacrifice these motherfucking kids. Like, we'll get them out of here. We don't need them.
Yeah, I wish they would explain why they were doing it. Like there had to be some reason why they decided to do this.
And it could have been just subtle enough to be like, oh, it's the family motto. Like that's why it is.
Kind of like that one movie, not Get Out, with Samara Weaving, Ready or Not.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Right or not, yeah.
Where they had to do it because if not, the devil was gonna kill them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar. It could be.
Yeah, you could have explained that here.
Mm-hmm. So
Also, they tore up such a nice movie screen. They're not going to be able to get another one to the bottom of the lake. Like,
I was like,
what are they going to do with these two girls in the after credit scene? Are they just going to get all the way down to the home theater and like now it's all torn up and they can't show the movie?
and I'm like, yeah, it's like, Sarah, stop breaking stuff. We other scuba divers got to come and see the movie. But Tina escapes through the screen and there's a cave back there. Ben comes over, he tries to kill her, and she stabs him in the shoulder, and then he comes to his senses.
Oh, baby, you're back.
Yeah,
yes, baby.
Like, no, kill him. So then Tina, as he comes to his senses, Sarah comes from behind him and stabs him and kills him. And Ben,
I was like, no, Ben, you were the greatest character in the world.
No, it was Tom. Wasn't Tom here too? Yeah.
Tom is in the background, like shooting, like this is awesome.
Oh shit!
Cinematic shot.
Wait a second. Who is controlling Tom now if Ben is possessed?
Well, it's possessed because it has a red light.
It's the red light Tom.
It's the red light
true.
Tom.
Good point.
But I don't know about y'all, but I thought this was so stupid. I thought the ghost stabbing him was the most like human thing to do when you're like,
right?
You're a fucking ghost.
Right?
Do
Literally
something
anything.
crazy.
Like, you could
possess him again.
Yeah.
And like break him apart or something. I don't know.
They should have contorted him. Like
The Chrissy Crumble.
Like or like
yes,
it would have been
or
cool.
something really like
or like tied him down onto the pentagram and like sacrificed him there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he does say like you're gonna die, but I'm gonna die with you. It would have been cool if like his like scuba gear like comes off and he's just drowning, but he doesn't care because he's possessed.
Yeah,
and you know you have Tina trying to help, but it's too late. Like he's just dead.
Yeah, that stab was very slashery, and I was like, we're not in a slasher movie.
It felt out of place a little bit. I was like, girl, Sarah.
Yeah.
It was Sarah, right?
Yeah,
Sarah. Because then the family was like, well, time to kill the girlfriend. So they come out and they're all trying to kill her. But then she manages to escape by taking off her scuba gear. And I was like, at this point, I was like, okay, she has 3 minutes to get to the surface.
Yeah.
Will she make it? But also, she's also not calm. So she has less than 3 minutes because now she's also struggling. So she goes through a cave. She ends up out where the crypt was earlier, escapes from there. And as she's swimming up, she drowns.
Yep.
And honestly,
Like
pissed
right
me off the
under
first
the
time.
surface.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
was
made both of us very mad.
We literally sat there for a few minutes because we were like, oh, okay. And for me, I'm like, bitch, just kill her down there.
Yeah.
Just kill her down there.
If you were gonna kill
end
her,
the movie there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But instead, you give us all this hope, and you have her. And also, if it, from a writing point of view, you had us connect with her from the beginning that she was practicing this.
yeah.
And you had her do that, and it was like, okay, we had her on her side throughout the whole movie. We're pretty much on her side, and I get that like sometimes you don't want a happy ending, which is fair. But then just kill her down there. You gave us this whole hope where she's swimming all the way up and then she starts drowning. And I'm like, no. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, because she's like 6 feet under the surface and you can see her like wet that moment when she breathes in the water and you're like, okay, well, she's definitely dead.
Yeah.
You think
Like,
it would have been?
there's no coming back from this.
Yo.
This is my I'm out. I'm out at
Yeah.
the point where I would die. I would prefer to
Yeah.
not die and keep going. I actually,
actually,
as we've been talking about this, I've been thinking about how I would have ended this movie a little bit differently because I feel like it would have been cooler if we like take the film aspect that we never really use except for just as a plot point to reveal what's going on with this family. And instead, if we remove the film and they're just going through this house and you see all this stuff, I think it would have been such a gag if she gets out of the water, like she gets it to the surface. You're like, yeah, she made it. She makes it back to the town. She like goes to the police and they don't know who the fuck Pierre is and they can't figure anything out. And then it turns out that actually the lake was made back in like the 1700s and that this house is like that old and Pierre has been living off of sacrificing people so that he benefits from this family's curse for all this time. And that he's just secretly tricking people into going over here. I don't know how you would have worked in the scuba thing from like the 1800s, but that's beside the point. I just think it would have been like
my thing. Was going to be like a little bit of like a skeleton key kind of ending where the parents take the bodies of Tina and Ben.
Oh yeah.
And then when they come up, they reunite with Pierre, and it's kind of like we're a family again.
Yeah.
And they have to keep getting people
to like come
down there.
to get sacrificed in the lake. Yeah, that would have been cool too.
Because then you still get that like, oh man, they didn't make it moment instead of just half-assedly just making them drown.
I also thought like this movie. I mean, I went a little crazy, but I was like, it would have been cool if like they went like, let's say they knew that this spot could have had people, so they went a little bit like to the winter, because who's gonna go to the lake during the winter, you know?
That's true.
And then like when Tina's swimming, she's gonna go to the surface and it froze over and she's stuck underwater.
Ooh.
And it's like she can't escape anymore, and that's how she dies, because it's like, you know, it's haunted.
Damn.
So it creates like a layer or something.
Cool. Or they were under there for so long, like I don't know, because supernatural time also could be a thing, and like they didn't realize, and the winter did come, and she goes up and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like it would have been something interesting, but you know.
Yeah, that definitely would have been cool if they had done a thing like you suggested, where all of a sudden they're in this house and it's like back in time.
Yeah.
And they aren't underwater anymore, and then she like makes it out, but now she's underwater and she has to hold her breath because she got rid of her scuba gear. She has to make it all the way out to the surface, and then you like realize that it's like months later and they've just been trapped in this curse for all this time. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
This movie had a lot going. I will say the final shot of her floating like Jesus looked very
Jesus Christ!
Because it was kind of like Ben earlier when he says over the crypt, and then the shot of just the lake and going black, also very beautiful. So that's the end of the movie, y'all.
Yeah. Oh, and then we get the post-credit scene, you know, with Aquaman coming through, saving them. But
so the post-credit scene is just two girls. One has a tattoo of the
peace sign.
The peace sign, and Pierre's behind them, and both of those girls already look scared. I'm like, why are you with this man?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
They don't look excited at all to go into the water. They look fucking terrified.
Yeah, they really, I don't know what it's supposed to mean, because it's like how did they also get into that situation as well?
Yeah, and why is he doing this for multiple? I mean, we don't know how much time has passed.
True.
But
He looks the same.
That's true.
It looks like it was the same day. And I'm
But like that's where I think like you could have made it into something that when he brings people to the lake to sacrifice them, that like his family keeps getting to live longer because they're continuing to sacrifice people, and he benefits from that, from being part of the family. That when he leads people in, they get sacrificed and he gets to stay young longer.
Yeah.
that would have been
Like
really
you could have
cool.
also done the post-credit scene where it's clearly Pierre, but he looks younger, and you could have hinted it that way.
Yeah, he like dye his hair or something.
Yeah.
Like literally anything could have been
recast
better.
him for a younger person.
Yeah. I guess it. Yeah.
I like that idea, and also like the idea of the parents taking the body of someone else and coming back to the surface and their family again.
Yeah, that would have been cool. And then having them at the end, like we see the two girls, and then when the camera pans, we see Pierre with Tina and Ben.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
because they left Sarah
really
behind.
cool.
Yeah, fuck Sarah.
They're like, oh,
Fuck Sarah, man.
So now they're like, just kill one of these two girls, and you can take her body, and you'll be fine.
yeah.
But yeah, that's the movie. All right, so for like we do in every episode, we like to read a review from Letterboxd or anything, and see, you know, what people think out there. Was something that we can relate, something that we think it's funny, whatever. So we find a 1-star and a 5-star review.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to go first?
Let's have our guest go first.
All righty. So who wants to go first?
Oh, I only got a 1-star review. Is
So
that
did
okay?
I.
That's okay.
fine.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's fine.
Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, this is a little bit of a long one because like people in most of the reviews got really into it. Like they were just like they took this really seriously, as we did. But this one is by a person on Amazon, and it says, "Did we all watch the same movie?" Spoiler. This was a movie I dreaded watching because of my fear of drowning or suffocating in deep water. Fair. But I knew I had to watch. What a disappointment. F equals failure for the following. F, number 1. At no part of the underwater footage did I find myself gasping for breath. I want to disagree with that. But F number 2, I sincerely wanted the boyfriend to die as soon as possible. What a jerk. F number 3. In fact, I was horrified that there would be dead people trying to kill the main characters, but when they finally appeared, they weren't even scary. True.
Yeah.
F number 4. The attempt to explain why they were even there in the last 20 minutes was a general and disastrous failure. Also fair.
Yeah.
F number 5. There was no reason for the female lead to die. In fact, her survival could have led to more storytelling explaining what was really going on. Summary. The last 30 minutes should have been tying up the odds and ends and supercharged the horror. Instead of being glued to the screen, I kept checking the time left because is this silliness almost over? Disappointment that I didn't feel one physical reaction or even a startle. Everyone dies. Good.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
This girl went in.
Yeah.
So mine is a little less funny. But I do have an honorable mention that I'll say after this is done. So mine says, I just picked this because it was very much aligned with my feelings.
Okay.
This is a Letterboxd review. It says, a neat pitch and great poster that falls flat in execution. It feels as if production only got so far as the concept for this without putting in any significant amount of effort to discovering or exploring either the found footage angle or the underwater angle in regards to the scares or storytelling. Most of the scares, such as they are relatively indecipherable, which is another thing that was really my frustration, that when the light would go red and she would just be floundering around, that I can't tell what's happening, so I can't be scared.
Yeah.
And the honorable mention is another 1-star review that just said, sucks.
That's all you need.
I love letterbox reviews. They're because they're from real people, and it's so funny to read them.
So you can go first.
Yeah, so I have a 5-star and a 1-star. My 5-star would be, this movie for some weird reason disturbed me. Maybe it's the way it was shot and my normal fear of deep water, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I should have.
Okay.
And then my 1-star says, so they get to live forever, but they have to live in this flooded house, chained up, waiting for their dumb son to bring them new sacrifices while he gets to live on dry land. Does not seem worth it to commit murder for that.
That's awesome. That's a good observation.
I love that.
All right. So my 5-star review, it says, this movie was wet, but also bad. I did not like it. Recommend? No. That's a 5-star.
What? That's so funny.
I love that.
And then my 1-star review is, I feel like I could have made a better movie in my own bathtub. So
that's perfect.
Those are our reviews.
Yeah.
Want to say daddy of the movie?
Oh, definitely Tina. I was rooting for Tina, and the fact that she knew we should not go down there, and all she wanted to do was relax for the rest of the weekend, and Ben didn't let her. She deserved better.
Yeah, I think Tom is the daddy of the movie.
See,
we're going.
we say Pierre.
We say Pierre
Because he has eternal life. He's perma daddy.
I mean, I get it.
Listen, we're all here for all
See,
the
now,
guys.
I say Pierre mostly because of the actor. Eric Savine, they must have aged him in this movie, because if you see pictures of him, he is daddy. He is for sure daddy. Go over. Oh, hold on. Let me just double check.
Everyone has pulled out their phones now, dude.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see.
Oh, the horror daddies are here for some thirst.
What's his name?
Eric
Pierre.
Savine.
Yeah, Eric Savine.
Eric Savine.
Okay.
You see some pictures of when he's younger, but
yeah.
also he's daddy. Yeah, he's a creep in this movie, but I think that serves because of his acting.
Yeah.
So we choose Pierre.
Yeah, he's definitely being
Pierre because of weird things. But
Wow.
No, it's fine.
Wow.
Outside of topic, real quick. So in Stranger Things, everyone's thirsting over Eddie. Eddie this, Eddie that, Eddie this, Eddie that. And I'm like, no one's thirsting over the one daddy that makes sense. Enzo. Enzo was so beautiful. I was like, I'm Team Enzo. I don't care about y'all. Can have Eddie.
I was so afraid. I really thought you were about to say the one daddy that matters was Vecna, and I was like, dude, that's too much.
I have a friend that believes that, and I'm like, I always judge her. I'm like, girl,
No, we're not here
stop.
for that.
It's Enzo. That's all that matters.
Enzo's daddy.
Enzo supremacy.
Yes, exactly. But okay, those are the daddies of this movie. We have a robot, a man, and a woman that deserve better.
And it's not Ben. Like,
No,
no matter
definitely
what,
never
Ben.
Ben.
Bottom tier.
Yeah.
Bottom tier,
We actually
yeah.
have a friend named Ben that scuba dives who is actually much hotter than this Ben.
Yeah,
So
but he's like
salute to him.
kind of like a punk rockish like
Yeah.
Ben, and he's hot as fuck.
Okay.
And his wife listens.
So Liz, your man is hot.
we trust these daddies here. I'm sure you are hot. if they're listening.
And then for how many knives do you give this movie out of 5? So this is just
without
like
being a
first.
bitch.
Wait, what happened?
Without being a bitch.
I said without being a bitch.
Completely honest. I mean, I
Or
know
should
this
I
is my
be a
favorite
bitch?
movie,
Yeah.
but that's fine. No, I'm kidding. Stop. Break my heart.
So I'm gonna be charitable today, and I'm gonna give this a 2 stars because I do
Okay.
think that like there were some good aspects to it. I love the premise. I think that there's so many different ways you could have taken this that would have been better than what was actually executed, but I do have to give them props. Like a couple of the jump scares did get me. The suspense overall, I think for most of the movie was handled pretty well. You know, you got the creepiness. I just, you know, I don't want to get back into all the stuff we've already discussed, but I think there were a lot of ways that this could have been improved. So, and I am still salty that Tina died when she was so close to the surface, and she'd been like, why couldn't you make this be the one time that she did better than her practice? Like, come on.
yeah.
So I'm going to give this a 2.
I can't believe you gave that a 2 and you gave Creep a 1. Like, I'm just
So this is out of 5, which technically means that it's a 4. Is this out of 5? I assumed
It's
it was
out of 5. Oh,
yeah.
because you guys do out of 10,
It's out of
right?
5. We do out of 10.
Yeah.
So it's
Still.
technically a 4, which makes it
Still.
Creep even lower.
Yeah, exactly. How? The math ain't mathing.
I wanna defend myself again by saying that I ranked Creep low, not because I think Creep is a bad movie, but because Creep scared me more than I enjoyed it, and therefore it gets a
I
low
see.
rating.
Yeah, I always have to take that into account. I'm going to give this a
You could be honest.
yeah, I'll give it a 2. I think because overall the concept, how they filmed it was really good. I think that aspect is the script is trash. They needed to work on that better, but overall, I think the director did a good job with filming it, or maybe the cinematographer. Maybe I should give them credit. But the fact that like if you see behind the scenes footage of this movie, like they are filming. They built a house.
Yeah,
they built a
that's
house
fucking
underwater. And these 2 actors are like swimming around and they're like trying to communicate with the director because the director's not underwater. So
He's
I
like,
give
"Hell
it
no."
props for that.
The
Oh
director's
yeah, he's
Tom.
like, fuck no. But 2 for me.
Okay.
For me, I will say that a first time watch in a dark room, I was at a 3. Oh, and because I
Half asleep.
that first, yes, that's one aspect. And half asleep Carlos gets scared super easily. Today I think I stand at maybe like a 2.5. Because now that I'm seeing the issues with it, I'm like, yeah, this has issues. But overall, I think the premise is very cool. I would like to see someone else do it and make it better, and hopefully make it a 5-star film.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, they should make a scary movie underwater.
Oh my god. All right. Like a scary movie.
like Cindy and Brenda underwater.
Oh, this bitch
Oh my
messing
God.
on my floor.
This bitch is coming out of the TV.
Well, obviously, naturally, I will give this movie a 5-star. I think this is a masterpiece that we don't understand. And I think it's just that my taste is more sophisticated.
So this
Oh,
is high
shit.
art, is what you're done saying.
Thank you.
No, honestly, I went on Letterboxd and gave it a 2-star, so I'm gonna give it a 2 knives, of course. I do, like everyone mentioned, the production is there. I think this movie was very creative. It was shot like it's scary doing what they were doing, and just in a film set, the fact that they actually filmed this after, underwater, they built a house, they did all this crazy shit. We have to take that into consideration, and it's the flaws is both the editing and I think the script were the biggest issues in this movie. Because of course, if they would have worked on it a little bit more, it could have been a very effective movie. Yes. I would love to see a better version of this. I think this shouldn't be the only type of, underwater haunted house movie that there is. I don't know if there's any more.
I'm trying to think, is there any other movie that's tried something like this? I don't think so.
Well, there have been some other underwater horror movies, but I don't think like having a house that's fully underwater.
Like fully underwater, yeah. Like the movie Underwater. It's all 100% underwater.
Deep Blue Sea, that's facility underwater. But like a haunted house underwater, no, it's first one.
But it's just a cool premise, and it's like they could have definitely improved on it. But is it a movie I'm gonna watch again? No, but it's fine. And someone might enjoy it out there. Like, see if you like it. If you do, I'm just gonna judge you and say you don't have good taste. But that's fine. But that's pretty much it, right? That's everything.
That is. I do want to apologize because when we first had our meeting to like do this movie, I kind of hyped it a little bit because I watched it once half asleep.
Me too.
And now and it's like, sorry for making you watch, but bad movies always make great episodes.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think both of us were like looking for an excuse to watch this movie because from the trailer it looked really cool, and I was really excited about the premise.
Which is why when we saw it, we were like, "Oh God, they're gonna hate us when we say they love this movie, and we're hating it."
I'm not afraid of it anymore. I live my truth, and my truth is that this movie was bad.
Yup.
Yeah. So I'm glad we did this. This was fun.
Yeah.
And can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, and again, I want to say thank you for joining us. If you guys want to plug anything, go out there. This is your spotlight right now.
Well, awesome. Thanks for having us. First of all, this was a lot of fun.
No, my album is coming out on iTunes next week. No, I'm kidding. No,
it doesn't feature me at all for some reason.
Nope. It says Sergio, I'm single, all the hits.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. Ooh, I'm kidding.
We need to have a talk after the Zoom.
No, guys, honestly, thank you so much for having us on. We truly are honored. We love all your content and love seeing them come out. So it's been, truly an honor to be on with you guys. Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah.
As of plugging, we are the Horror Bandwagon. We are on mostly all platforms. If we're not, yell at us, DM us, and be like, why the hell aren't you on this? But we also have a YouTube channel. You can go over there, and we do a lot of reactions, and you can now see Cody fear for his life on camera.
Yes.
In case you wanted to see that, our favorite so far has been Terrifier.
And as we're starting to watch movies now, we also just recently opened up our Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/thehorrorbandwagon, you can actually watch movies with us. Just put us up alongside Netflix or wherever else you're watching the movie. You can sync up and you can just hear our discussions and watch our reactions live as we watch through it. We just did this for all of Stranger Things. We have a couple Stranger Things season 4, I should say, and we have a couple movies that are up too.
Yeah,
and always adding more. So very exciting.
Yeah, support us there if you would like. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
That is awesome. Everything's going to be down below, guys. We're going to link it up. If I can put it on the comments and pin it, of course, I'll do that as well. So, again, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate
this was really
it.
Fun. And sorry it was a shitty movie.
It's okay. These are my favorites. I love watching a movie and getting to be like, here's how I would have written it differently. Me, the acclaimed movie writer.
So where am I going with this? Oh, our stuff. Horror Daddies everywhere. Merch.
Down below at the Horror Daddies merch.store. You can support us down there, but just leaving a like and a comment help us tremendously. So thank you so much for watching and listening.
Yep. And remember,
swim, bitch! Swim!